Welcome to Doing Learning, everybody. I'm your host tonight, and I got my pal with me. Hello, my pal Daniel.
Hello, folks.
Nice and smooth. I don't know if that was excited or what feeling that
was on cue, like me being on cue.
It was on cue. I just don't know what the feeling was.
The feeling was, hello, folks.
I don't know if that's an emotion or a feeling, but it's a vibe, I guess. So
that's a vibe.
We're in a weird mood tonight. I don't exactly know what it is. I don't know. It took us like 20 minutes to even just to hit record button. I don't know what we're doing.
It's all the fake monarchs in front of me.
It is. We have a whole stack of fake monarch butterflies that we did for Day of the Dead. That was really fun.
It was fun.
Anyway, we're just apparently just going to ramble on tonight. I am hosting. I have a topic. We can talk about it if you want.
That's what we're here for.
We're here. We might as well. Or we could just get distracted and just let her go. We'll see where we go. Okay. Let's do that. Let's start into it. And if we end up sideways, so be it. I think that'll be kind of fun. I think I could go for that anyway. So I've got a lot of notes here. I'm going to kind of pick around and we're just going to kind of talk about some stuff.
All right.
Because tonight, Daniel, a topic that you're familiar with, I'm familiar with. I think most of the folks are familiar with. The topic is beer, which I'm kind of surprised we haven't talked about yet as a topic.
What episode is this?
38.
Wow. That is very surprising.
Doesn't come up yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about beer, but not like about beer. So I figured it's time that we talk about beer. So maybe another surprise to myself is I'm doing this before my coffee episode. So whatever. Here we are. So I was like, beer is again one of those things that it seems like it's just kind of been around forever. Like if I'm like, where was beer invented, Daniel? I mean, this is the guessing game tonight, I guess. It's like hard mode.
Hamburger was made in Hamburg.
Was it?
Isn't
That's
it?
Fine. No.
Where was the hamburger invented?
Like New York.
No, it's not. No, it wasn't.
Not in Hamburg.
Yeah, it was.
No.
Yes.
No, they were. Nuh-uh.
How much you want? How many beers you want to bet on this?
One. That seems like a fair number.
Yeah.
Any more than that, it's.
Is there Beersburg?
Where Beersburg invented? Boom. Okay, here we go. United States.
No.
But hang on. Its roots are complex, turns out.
No. Maybe we should talk about this.
Okay, this is so pedantic and lame. Oh my goodness. This is not the topic, everybody, but we're here. My stuff says Hamburg inspired the use of beef patties. So that's cool. But the innovation of putting them in sandwich form, that was us. That was the United States, baby.
And the cheeseburger specifically.
And the cheese.
Colorado.
Yes. Oh, this is Wisconsin.
Nope, it's Colorado.
This is. Do your own research, folks. I don't know that we're going to solve it here. I see so many other states, but not Colorado. We invented what? No. What? I've never heard that.
The cheeseburger?
The cheeseburger? No, I've never heard that.
I thought it was.
Really? I'm reading notable claims include some dude in Wisconsin who reportedly served meatballs between slices of... No, that doesn't say cheese. What the heck am I doing?
Denver has a strong claim to the invention of the cheeseburger due to Louis Ballett's trademarking of the name in 1935 in his Humpty Dumpty restaurant in Denver. Boom.
Okay. Well, my problem was this does not say cheese anywhere on my notes, and I just assumed Wisconsin meant cheese. So that was my problem. So sorry, everybody. Daniel was right. I owe him a beer, I guess. half of, like, I don't know.
Yeah. That's a wash.
Whatever. The topic tonight, everybody, is beer. So where was beer invented? It's kind of one of those things we talked about in caffeine, that it's a thing that occurs or can occur like naturally, sort of. Not beer how you might think of beer, but like ancient beer can happen if like the right things happen. Like it doesn't just spontaneously happen, but it takes like a grain fermenting and then yeast gets introduced and then boom, it turns into some kind of beer like thing. So it's actually happened in different places around the world at different times. So it's just like a thing that we discovered. So its roots are kind of difficult to pin down.
Gotcha.
But some of the oldest archaeological evidence of stuff that actually like references beer is like in ancient Sumer, like the Sumerians, and in Iran. So kind of think like in the Middle East kind of area. And then China has some really old roots too, but they like beer how we think of it, like with like barley based, is more like kind of how the Sumerian beer was, although it is slightly different. And then the beer in China was rice. So the thought was that it's really funny because there's a thought that the first time beer was created or introduced or discovered or whatever was attributed to somebody's laziness. And so the hypothetical story goes is, somebody is in charge of grain storage of some kind, right? And they accidentally left it out in the rain, or they neglected to take it in or hide it or whatever, cover it up. And so it got wet and started to ferment. And then somehow some kind of like bread like structure fell into it, which like at that time would have been, can't remember what they call them, but it's just like flour and water. And then you kind of cook that, and that's kind of breadish sort of thing. Okay. And then that will, like, I don't know, yeast is some kind of magic, I think.
For sure. Like, it's definitely like a living thing. It's crazy.
So then they're saying like at some point bread got involved or some kind of bread like thing. And then the yeast was able to eat stuff and do stuff. And then the fermentation, and it actually produced the alcohol part of beer. And then they discovered that if you drink it, it does weird stuff to you. And they couldn't attribute it to anything. So it's like a religious thing back in the day. So in the Sumerians, they linked it to the goddess called Ninkasi. And they basically, like, the story was whatever, that Ninkasi like gifted the humans beer. Like this goddess gave everyone beer. So it's really interesting because they had like I mean, not everybody was writing stuff down back in the day. Right. And so what they found was like a piece of pottery or something like that with like a song written on it. That was like a song or a prayer to Ninkasi, talking about like, you gave us the whatever and you ferment the thing and you do this or whatever. But it's basically just a recipe. It's a way to remember how to make beer. It's like that's how people used to do stuff and remember stuff and like pass down recipes. Oh yeah, you just like sing a song, and the song was the instructions, which I thought was kind of cool. Yeah. So that's kind of one area where it came from. Have you ever heard of the name or the story of Gilgamesh? Does that ring any bells? For me, it barely kind of scratched the thing.
That name sounds familiar. I don't know why it does, but it does.
So I'm going to breeze way fast through the story because I didn't even look into it. I know just like a tiny little bit. Was it King Gilgamesh was a king of Sumeria, I believe. And there's like this folkloric story about Gilgamesh, and the whole thing is kind of based on the transition from hunter-gatherer people to like settlements where we start doing agriculture and cities and blah, 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 all that stuff. Some of what, it's really funny because history is nuanced and things are nuanced, but in a lot of ways you can point back to beer being the like one of the reasons that people decided to like settle. Because hunter gatherers lived a pretty kind of decent life. It like is difficult or whatever, but there's some other studies that seemed, I didn't get into that either, but they're claiming like they probably didn't work as hard as farmers. Like when we converted to agriculture, we started working way harder. And so it's like, why would you do that? But it kind of goes back to this kind of being a religious thing. So like the storehouses were usually like the religious houses. And so they would take in all the grains and stuff like that and keep them and then distribute them to the people as the people needed them. And one way to distribute them was through beer, because beer is basically liquid bread. If you kind of think about like not today's beer, like it only kind of resembles that. Like, I don't know if you've ever like if you've made bread or been in like a bakery when they're making bread or something like that, or you've been in a brewery when they're brewing beer. Some of the smells are the same because it's basically the same process.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It is the same process. So they actually used to like serve beer as like a nutritional thing. And that was a way to quickly feed a lot of people when they needed to. So like the temples were holding all of the, it sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
But when we're talking like beer now it's designed to be a certain way. This back in the day, it was like maybe 1% alcohol content at the time. Yeah. And so it was way more of a nutritional thing, a way to consume some calories. It was a social thing, and a way to build trust. So they would actually like have just like a big bowl and then they'd all drink from the same bowl with like straws and stuff like that. Wow. So the whole idea, I know the whole thing is nasty. Well, it's really gross when you start to think about it, because they use like straws. Basically, they had like reeds and stuff that they'd use as straws. And the reason they would do that is because there would just be like the bready type weird nasty stuff just floating around in the beer. Yeah. And so they had to like filter that out and, use a straw, because then it was too big to go through the straw. So then they wouldn't drink the gross stuff. So that's like ancient beer.
So good.
Doesn't that sound awesome? So it's just like, but then the other thing was too, is that it was kind of communal. Like, have you heard the story of like why you cheers people?
No.
I always heard it and I didn't look into this. It's just kind of the same idea, is that it's a communal trust thing. And so the idea is I think it was like the Vikings or something like that. You would cheers, but you'd cheers hard enough for that like beer is splashing around, or your drink is splashing around and transferring from cup to cup, so that if one person tried to poison another person, you're going to be cheersing and spreading the poison around. So then it demotivates anybody from poisoning, because you're going to be part of it and you might end up like poisoning yourself. So that's kind of the cool idea here too. Yeah. Is that it's a communal thing. So if you're drinking a big bowl, there's motivation to keep it tidy, right?
Yeah.
Keep it good. So, very much a social thing. It was distributed like food and as a payment. So there's some evidence that the folks that built the pyramids were at least in part paid in beer, which is interesting. Yeah. So it's basically like, we're going to pay you and you get it's a nutritional thing. It's a food thing. Right. It's like you kind of get some food as well. So that's like old school beer, which I thought was pretty weird and different. I want to try like an old style beer, not with like all the junk in it. I don't want that.
You don't want,
but I just want to taste like what did it was how different was it? You know what I mean?
Do they still, does this old school beer have a name?
I don't know. Maybe just type in like Sumerian beer or something like that. Like, I don't know. Actually, I hadn't given it too much thought until like right now, but yeah, I would love to try. There's probably some that are kind of based on how they did it, but I don't know.
This doesn't look very pleasant, dude.
I did see one actually from Great Lakes. No, that looks horrible. I think I'm changing my mind. Daniel just brought up an awful image.
Yeah, there's like clear separation of solids and liquids.
That's it's a bit unsettling.
See, this one at least looks a little better.
Yeah,
it's a more even
that one.
Yeah, it's a more even separation,
yeah.
not like chunky separation.
Yeah, no, the other one looked like it went bad. That one looks,
exactly, yes.
Well, and that was kind of the thing too, is like they would make these big batches of beer, and that's like why they had to do it as a community as well, is because it didn't last very long. It maybe lasted like a week, so they had to drink it. So that was pretty interesting. And
by the way, this is a video. Brewing Mesopotamian beer, 4,000 years old. So it's a video of how to show you how to make.
You can make your own,
I guess. I mean,
weird. That's cool.
If YouTube allows that,
it seems weird, right?
Yeah, it doesn't seem right.
I don't.
Unless
you can make your own kombucha and stuff like that, which is low alcohol content.
I'm guessing
just natural fermentation, but
I'm guessing that's what this is.
Like you might have a hard time getting it up to any kind of significant alcohol level. I don't know. That'd be an interesting thing to try.
But I'm sure we're in Denver. I'm sure there's
got to be somewhere, man. We'll find one. We'll go to it. It'll be a bonus episode where we go and try
Sumerian beer.
So let's move forward a little bit in time. Here's what I want to do, Daniel. I'll spoil the story for a little bit for you.
Okay.
I just kind of want to walk through the history because I think it's neat.
Yeah,
and it kind of permeates a lot of life, especially like European life and kind of that area. And then I want to tell you a crazy beer story.
A personal one?
No.
Okay.
No, a historical one. Yeah, certainly there's not a shortage of stories of crazy beer stories to choose from, but I found a pretty darn interesting one that I think you'll get a kick out of. So let's move forward a little bit in time, and this is so funny. The Romans were so full of themselves.
Of course they were, because
they were just absolutely disgusted by beer, because they called it like a rotting drink and stuff like that. And
I mean, it kind of looks like it.
It does. But what do the Romans really like to drink?
Wine,
which is,
oh my gosh, they're rotting.
It's
grapes.
Rotting grapes. It's like, you guys, guess what? It's the same thing. It's just a different base thing. Like you're not using barley, you're using grapes. Like, oh my gosh. And the only reason you're using that is because it grows well in Italy.
Yeah.
If like barley grew really well, you probably would have been drinking beer. So it's just like, that's how much they didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
Like they could make it, but they didn't get it. Like they did not know yeast was a thing. Like that was not discovered until way later. So we were making beer for thousands of years before we figured out what was going on. Which is not that surprising, but but pretty interesting when
still
you think
crazy,
about it that way.
For sure.
So from the Romans' perspective, wine was the symbol of civilization. And at the time, they didn't even call it beer yet. It was called ale.
Okay,
and I'll tell you kind of where it changes. They called it ale, and that was the drink of barbarians, which is like, that's what the Romans called like other people too, or like, right, like all the outside areas and whatever. So, the Romans writing on Gauls and Germans, beer was associated with wildness, strength, and communal bonds. So like their historical records of it were just like about beer halls in Germany and stuff like that. And they're basically like, they do everything. They discuss everything like at beer halls and stuff like that. Like beer is always involved in their decision making. And if they're going to do this, or if it's a good thing, or if they're going to go fight somebody, or if, if things are bad, or if things are good, like it's just like the common denominator. Yeah. Like it's always part of it. But they absolutely liked their beer a lot. And so it would always get a little bit sideways. At this point in time is pretty kind of interesting because this is another thing that flips on its head. A lot of it is pretty dumb, and I'm happy that we kind of live in the future. For the longest time, like from thousands of years ago to like pretty much until like we get to the 1800s, that's getting ahead of myself. But women made beer. They're called alewives or brewsters. And it's because like, the women were home taking care of the house or whatever like that. The men were out doing whatever. So they might have been baking or cooking or whatever. And part of that was making beer. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
What was kind of interesting about this is just based on the materials that they had and what they had available, they would make beer in pretty big batches. And like I said, it spoiled pretty quick. So they needed to drink it fast. And usually that meant that they needed help drinking it, right? So they'd call like their neighbors over and whatever. And so then you start getting like, some of these are better than others, like, right? Some people make beer better than others.
Yeah.
And so you knew when so-and-so was making, it was their week to make beer, like, oh yeah, people are going to show up. And so this kind of grew on itself. And this is where like ale houses and inns and taverns come from.
Oh, okay.
Is because they were just households that needed to get rid of beer. So they would have people come and drink the beer. When it was ready, they would put a sign out that was like a beer sign. That's where that comes from. So people knew that the beer was fresh and they needed to come to it. And then they started offering other things too. So a tavern would also offer food, and an inn would also offer a place to put your horse and a place to sleep and that kind of thing. So that's where all of that came from.
That is wildly interesting. That is because
of beer.
Because it started like they just needed to get rid of it.
Yes.
And like you said, some people made it better than others. So they're like, we're always going to go to that person, that person. Oh, like, and they just started making a business out of it, right?
Basically, yeah. So they were more motivated to make it. And so, maybe so-and-so stops making beer and maybe they go help this person make beer. And then it just kind of turns into a little enterprise.
That's so crazy.
It's pretty neat.
Which is like most maps that we play D&D, most maps that we see or whatever, the taverns, like it's always, I feel like in between a bunch of other houses.
Yep.
It's just like weirdly placed all the time, right? But it would make sense that they're like, hey, it used to be
someone's house.
It's someone's house. Then that just made it a little bigger or whatever, like consume the other house to the side to make it an inn or. That's so cool.
So that's pretty neat.
That gives me a different perspective of like see the maps that I see and like, that, because I've always thought it was like just weird. Like, okay, like it's just literally in the neighborhood.
So, and what else explains it too? That's the common trope in D&D is like you're always in a tavern or starting in a tavern, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you look at what's going on, like this is Europe at this point.
Right.
There are, or at least used to be, like, think about like Fort Collins, like there's breweries everywhere, right? So in ye olden days, in the medieval times, it made sense because it didn't last long. So it was really hard to transport. So you could only move it so far. So that people kind of had to come to you. And so then it would make sense to cover more ground, the locations of where the beer can go and how good it's not very big.
Yeah.
So as soon as your beer coverage is at its limit, boom, you're going to have another brewery basically.
Yeah.
And then that you're going to end up with them everywhere.
Right.
So that's kind of why, like, over in Europe, they're everywhere, or at least used to be everywhere.
Yeah.
This all changed when the Germans discovered that if you add hops, not just barley and water, you add hops, it adds a different flavor, of course, and it makes beer, it preserves it way better. There's something in the food chemistry of it that preserves beer better. So then all of a sudden it can travel further and it stores better. And so everything that we just talked about expands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then now, like, these little pockets of beer influence grow and the good ones really start to get bigger and stand out, right? This is really fun. I don't know if you knew this. In 1516 in Germany, in Munich, they decided they were going to pass a beer purity law, which says that beer shall be made with only these ingredients. And the ingredients were water, barley, and hops. What they didn't know about was yeast was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
You needed yeast to make beer. So there's always a 4 ingredient thing. So you can still look and find like a German beer has only those ingredients. So they're really simple. Like beer's not like, they taste like all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And whatever. I mean, you name it, we've tinkered with it. We've kind of figured it out. Some of them are good. Some of them are less good, but German beers it was that purity law. So there's only those ingredients. So there was a precision to it and kind of, like Takumi, right? Is that the right word? Where like
Yes.
an expert in your craft.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's where it kind of started to stood out. So I don't know if you've ever heard of, there's a beer called Pliny the Elder.
I don't.
If you've ever heard of that one, it's like a legendary beer. It's like the beer.
Pliny the Elder?
Pliny.
Oh, Pliny.
Yep. Whenever we go to like Tipsy's or whatever, they had a sign that says, "No, we don't have any Pliny."
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like there's usually, because that's what everybody wants. I've had it twice. Once, like from a liquor store, and the other day, I don't know if it's becoming. You used to not be able to get it. Like you could only get it like bottled.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to find. But I actually had it at a pizza shop the other day on tap.
Ooh.
Not the other day. It was like forever. I don't know. It was like a year ago.
I was like, the other day, when are we going?
It was not the other day. But yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to go have that. So I've only ever had it twice. So it's just hard to find, but it's just a German beer. So it's not like anything crazy. It's just a really hoppy beer. So it's not like an IPA, but it's very hoppy. And you'd probably taste it and you'd go, okay. But it's like that purity thing, right? So it's just like doing that simple thing incredibly well.
Yeah.
Is kind of the idea there.
I mean, a good beer is a good beer, I think.
Yep.
Like whether it's your taste or not, like I think you can taste when a beer, like even though maybe it's not flashy, but it's good. You're like, oh yeah, that one was good.
Yep. Balanced. So, yeah. It's not flashy or anything. It just does it well. So you have to look out for that one. Maybe we'll go to that pizza shop one day and see if it's still there. And then you can try it out and see what you think. But Daniel, as this is where I was kind of mentioning, where things kind of get lame and weird.
Lame.
As it is truly lame. As like these, like I said, they kind of start turning into enterprises, these big businesses. What's going to happen to the women making the beer? Well, they're not going to be allowed to do that anymore because this is an industry. So they get to go serve the beer while the men go make the beer. So at that point, it had kind of completely flipped and women were no longer making beer. And that's just kind of how it was. They became barmaids instead of roosters. Let me look at some notes here.
Brewsters, not roosters, right?
Brewsters. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Not like the chicken.
Yeah. I found the Pliny the Elder 12 pack, 510 milliliters.
Yep.
For $72.50.
Yep.
And it ships only to California.
Yep. That's exactly it. Yep. That's why it's hard to get.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just ship it to somebody that I know out there and then be like, I'm coming for it.
That's probably how a lot of people get it. Yeah, it's crazy. It's really, really difficult to get.
It'd be cool.
You kind of have to know somebody.
Yeah, it'd be cool just to try and.
Yeah.
You know, I know some people have like the bottles that they keep.
Yeah, yeah.
Just have that be one of my bottles that I keep.
Yeah. Like you probably didn't know that there was this sought after beer.
No. That's sweet.
$72 for a 12-pack is crazy for a 12-pack.
It is crazy, but I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean,
every now and then you got to splurge, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a legendary thing at this point, so you're probably paying a little bit into just that, but
yeah.
But whatever, you could be part of the team, part of the right, part of the in crowd that's done it. Let's see. So what are we doing after this starts to grow and grow and grow? So this is where things start to get kind of they start to separate themselves with like different flavors and experimenting with different styles and blah blah blah, all this stuff. So you get people like I can't remember Homeboy's first name. Guinness, I think it was Arthur Guinness.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like, this was like 1700s, like 1750. He bought an old brewery that had been like not running for 100 years. And he's like, I'll give it a go, and started doing some stuff and made Guinness, which is the most popular stout in the world.
I mean, one of my favorites, from a tap.
Yeah.
It's one of the best beers I think there is.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Even with their little like the tall boy, the nitro ball, genius.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
It's heavy, it's full.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the idea, right? Is that, again, it's kind of like the meal in a glass kind of idea.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a play on that. Did you know, this was fascinating to me. What would you say is the number one drinker of Guinness?
What do you? Like who?
Which country? Yeah.
Whoa.
Not a trick question.
U.S.?
Do you know where Guinness, the headquarters of Guinness is?
Yeah. It's in. Hold up. Dublin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, number one drinker of Guinness is Ireland.
Oh, duh.
Right. Not a trick question. You'll never guess where number two is.
Some kind of, I'm going to say Asia, somewhere in Asia.
Nope. But I like where your head's at. Nigeria.
Oh.
Because that was where Guinness built their second factory.
Is it still there?
I think so.
Oh, that's cool.
So they consider it like their national beer.
Oh, wow. Because I've always want to go to Dublin just to go to their factory there.
Yeah, definitely.
But like, there's one in Nigeria. That's cool.
Now, I'm sure there's other ones and stuff out there, but
I mean, their second one, that'd be cool too.
1800s or whatever. So yeah, Nigeria has a long-standing history of drinking Guinness, which I can't imagine that's a very, like, I don't know where the latitude of Nigeria is. It is so close to the equator compared to Ireland.
Yes.
It's up there.
Mm-hmm.
And it does not sound satisfying.
No, like,
I'm like, I do not know how it lasted there, but it did.
That's insane.
So that's pretty funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a stout. Have you heard of so now we're into the how did beer get its name part of the show.
Okay.
Have you heard of a Russian imperial stout? Just a style of beer.
Not Russian. I've heard of an imperial stout.
Okay, that's fine. The first ones were called Russian imperial stouts.
Okay.
And the only reason where that came from was we had stouts that already existed, and they were trying to export them to places. So they're trying to get them to Russia. Well, it was too cold in Russia, and so it would freeze.
Oh.
And so what they did is they found a way to up the alcohol content so that it wouldn't freeze, and that's why you got Russian imperial stouts. So they're just a stout with more alcohol.
Is this why Russians just drink more?
It's part of it. It is definitely part of it.
Because it's not going to freeze if you put more alcohol in it.
Exactly.
And you got to get used to what you got there.
Exactly. And then that's why hard liquors too. And, things like vodka, which is, you can, whatever, make it out of potatoes or whatever. It's you make what you can grow.
Right.
And then what will last. And so you end up with things like hard liquor and heavy beers and stuff like that. So that's where Russian Imperial Stouts came from. Do you want to know how IPA was invented?
Please.
So we had these darker beers and kind of just these other ales, because ale is kind of like the start, right? That's the middle. And then you kind of do crazy stuff from there.
Okay.
So ale kind of considered the middle. So India, we already talked about Great Britain doing some weird stuff to everybody in like the 1800s and stuff like that, right? So they had people over in India, they had people in China doing stuff or whatever. And so they would try to bring them beer. And even though they had hops and stuff like this, it was just such a long trip that the beer would always skunk out by the time it got there. And they're like, okay, this is not cool. So then they did something else to store it better and like add a ton of hops and do whatever they could to just preserve it longer. And so and the other thing was it was hot, which I don't know why Nigeria likes Guinness so much. It was hot. And so those heavy stouts were not satisfying. I mean, you've been there. Yeah. You don't go down to Mexico and drink Guinness.
No, not at all.
No, you're going to drink something else, right? And it makes sense. It makes sense. So they ended up making a much lighter beer. And so they made it lighter. So then it was more pale. And then they brought it to India. So therefore, India Pale Ale. It's not even fancy.
Good job, guys.
You're right. So then, that any spin off of that, like an APA, if you've heard of that, like an American Pale Ale, that is just like maybe some Americanized version of the recipe. It doesn't have that historical context as far as I know. There's some beers kind of like that. Let's see. What are some other fun ones? A lot of them were just named after like places that they were invented. Like Pilsner was invented like in Czechoslovakia in a town called Pilsner. Okay. So like a lot of them are just like that. But a really fun one is called, what is it? It's a German word and I'm going to screw it up. It's like Marzenbier or something like that, which kind of scratched my brain. Like I feel like I've heard of it, but it wouldn't stick out to me. Let me tell you a story. So, at that time in Germany, we're kind of going back in time a little bit now again. They would have a really hard time making beer during the summer, or it just like they couldn't do it, or they weren't allowed to do it because again, German purity laws, and they're really weird, right? Yeah. So what they would do is in the beginning part of the year, they would brew as much beer as they could. And then they would store it in barrels and put it underground and, in cellars. And that would usually be about March. So then they would let it sit in the cellars. And then when summer was over, they'd bring it back out and have beer.
When the summers were over.
So
they wouldn't sell beer during the summer?
I think they would, but like the beer that was made at that time wouldn't be ready until after summer.
Oh,
that's kind of the idea.
I see.
So that is what it is. I cannot remember the people's names. What are their names? I don't have them written down. That's fine. Back in the day, I think we're talking, again, go do your own research because I don't have it here. Sorry, everybody. 1700s-ish, 1800s-ish. Some German fancy people in like the monarchy style, right? Think like hot shots, big, whatever, right? These two people are going to get married, and they're like, cool, let's have like a big wedding. Let's make this like a thing. We're going to invite everybody. It's going to be awesome. And we're going to have a ton of beer because it was the end of summer, and that's when all the beer was ready. So they're like, cool, it's fresh beer. Let's bring it out, blah, blah, blah. And that went so well. It's such a good party. They decided to do it every year. Daniel, what's the end of summer ish?
Is this Oktoberfest?
Uh-huh. Oh. So that's how Oktoberfest came to be.
Oh my gosh.
It was from a wedding.
From a single wedding.
Uh-huh. Of like royals.
Right. Oh man. Oh man.
And so that's why like the beer that you see at Oktoberfest, it's all Marzen beer. Because that's what was made in March, and that's what was ready in the end of September, beginning of October timeframe when the wedding happened. So that's why you drink that beer during Oktoberfest.
I don't think I've ever actually partaken in any like Oktoberfest.
I haven't really either. I almost did one year, but I didn't, probably because I had no money. I'm like, oh, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
But it would be fun to do, I think, sometimes.
They definitely have stuff here, right?
Oh yeah, there's stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was fun that Oktoberfest, like it comes from a thing, which like once I learned, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. It's like, well, duh, it comes from something. Like,
now thinking about it,
they didn't just be like, let's all drink beers. Like it came from a wedding. So
that's cool.
I thought that was kind of fun.
Is that royal family still? That line of royal still around?
Probably. Honestly. I'm not sure, but probably.
And if they are, do you think they throw a huge...
Probably. It'd probably be awesome.
Yeah,
I'd probably be a lot of people and kind of not awesome in a lot of ways, but then also kind of cool just to like relive the same experience that was happening 300 years ago. Right.
It's just like things like that. It makes me like, I'm not into like royalty or anything like that, whatever. But just hearing like, I'm sure... because their family made it a thing that they want to keep it a tradition. Like we're the ones that did this kind of thing. So I'm sure they would want to throw a big party around Oktoberfest. And I'm sure that would be cool to like even read about or like see or any stuff like that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So that would be pretty cool. Let's talk about the other beer holiday. Let's call it St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And why it makes enough sense why it's celebrated in Ireland because it's their patron saint.
Yeah.
And so it's their feast day, so they're going to party like they do. What's interesting is like why we in America celebrate it so heavily, because it doesn't really make sense.
I mean, neither does Cinco de Mayo.
It might make more sense than
St. Patty's Day.
I mean, there's a pretty decent Hispanic population in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, there's no significance to.
Sure.
Well, there is, but not.
Yeah, right. It's like a different. You have to like kind of displace the entire meaning, and now it's just a different thing.
Yeah,
yeah. But I see what you mean.
But yeah, sorry. Go ahead with the St. Patty's.
So why does America kind of like St. Patrick's Day so much? Is it kind of started? At least one story is from the guy in the video called him Jorge Washington, which made me laugh so hard.
That's freaking awesome.
It's just George Washington.
No,
Jorge Washington. The guy giving the YouTube video too was like had some kind of Irish accent or something too. So having him go Jorge was so funny to me. I was just like listening to it and I was like, who is he? Who is Jorge Washington? I'm like, what is he? Like, oh my gosh. It has a picture of George on this. Okay.
That's awesome.
Okay. Well, George Washington was a general in the Revolution, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was leading a bunch of soldiers and they were pretty busy, but they did get one day off over this one winter. The one day that they got off was St. Patrick's Day, mostly because a lot of the soldiers happened to be Irish, but everybody else got the day off because like it just kind of worked out like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So he's like, oh, this will work out. Like we can't do it in some of the other holidays just because we're, shooting at people and whatever, all that stuff. Right. Like they're in the middle of a war. You can't just like pick and choose.
Right.
So it kind of worked out that it was St. Patrick's Day. So they kind of got it established and, got the roots set there that the Army took the day off on St. Patrick's Day. So that kind of laid the foundation. Well, then later on in like the 1800s, Ireland went through like an awful famine and a bunch of people left and immigrated to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And, when they got here, one thing that they kept with them, of course, was the celebration of their own holiday, of their own patron saint. But there was already kind of roots here, like maybe like a little bit, like not crazy, huge, big St. Patrick's Day thing. But there was enough people here so that when they kind of showed up, it was like, oh yeah, St. Patrick's Day. That's awesome. And so there was kind of that established celebration. So they just kept celebrating it. And then it just kind of stayed. And so St. Patrick's Day is one of the most like celebrated holidays by Americans.
Yeah.
Even though it kind of doesn't make sense for most Americans to celebrate it.
Yeah. I've never understood. I was just like, cool.
And at this point, it's a drinking holiday for most people.
Yeah.
Like they completely, whatever. Mostly because, that's kind of how the Irish did a feast day, but that completely lost its significance in the United States. And it's just an excuse to drink. So
I think I probably would never go out in St. Patrick's Day, especially here. It would be a nightmare.
At one point, it was really funny. The only time I've ever been like downtown Denver on St. Patrick's Day, it happened one time completely by accident, was in high school. I was play baseball, and we at one time during the spring, we would play this other school on Coors Field, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
It was really fun. I don't know if they still do that. I don't think they do, but anyway. So we got to play on Coors Field, which is just really neat.
Do they televise it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's, we got more fans than they do nowadays, but no, actually, no, they have a ton of fans there nowadays still, even though they're terrible. Hopefully cross my fingers for next year. They're actually looks like they're trying to do stuff. So we'll see. But anyway, we got to play there. Mm-hmm. The problem is we're in a bus driving downtown on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh man.
And the crowds are just standing in the road.
Yeah. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
And especially right there by the stadium.
Yes.
It's like 24th Street is just not too far away, where it's just the street where all the bars are. And then right outside, the stadium, there's
like Jackson's, and like
Jackson's,
everything, dude.
Yeah.
So everybody, like the streets were not shut down. People were just on them.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get the bus through and like, they're not moving. And so our coaches are like, okay, let's go. So they got off the bus to be like, can you guys move? We're trying to drive the bus here. And the people, of course, it being the holiday that it was, were not fully in their right minds.
Yep.
And they were having a ball because our coaches were wearing like full baseball uniforms. They're just like, whoa, what is this? Like, oh, look how weird this is. Like, it was just like the dumbest thing. And I had no desire to be. No, no, it's just gross and weird and just, it's too many people and not enough, senses.
Yeah.
They disappear.
I think the only way I could do it like nowadays, and downtown would be like, if it was just like people, like every single one of my closest friends that I knew, like, and we were going as a group.
Yeah.
And we were
power
just like
numbers kind of thing.
Yeah. Just kind of like, hey, we're all just going to hang out. But to go by myself, like even with one other guy, I'd be like, dude, I'd rather let's just go pick up something, or like, let's go to a local bar.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not dealing with downtown crazies.
No, it goes crazy too fast, which that might be the perfect segue into my other story. Let me pull up my other notes here. So let's move then to 1974.
Oh, one of my favorite years.
Was one of the hardest years for America. Why do you like 1974, Daniel?
I don't.
I knew I just had to call you out on it because I couldn't let that just sneak by.
My parents were toddlers.
There you go. Okay. Ooh. That's great. So 1974, this is the year of Watergate. There was the freaking what's his face? Nixon?
No, not Nixon. Yeah, well, yeah, Nixon, but Forrest. He exposed him, right?
Forrest Gump. Yeah, exactly. In 1974. So Watergate hit. There was a recession going on.
Mm-hmm.
There was an energy crisis going on. And Daniel, beer was too cheap in Cleveland, Ohio.
It was too cheap?
Daniel, I'm going to tell you the story about the 10-cent beer riot.
What?
I love this story. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay. So
we need a repeat in history about this 10-cent beer. I haven't even heard it yet, but let's go.
I watched this thing and it was this YouTube video on it, and the top comment was still better than 15.99 beer night. like, yeah. There's a point. So it sounds like a bad idea, right? Like, how is this going to go well?
Seems like, yeah. What is okay, it's 1974.
Yep.
You said?
Yep. You doing some inflation math?
Yes, I am.
Okay, inflate it.
1974. You said how much? 10 cents?
10 cents. Insert the waiting music.
So 10 cents, so a dime in 1974 is about the purchasing power equivalent to today 66 cents. So
that's still really cheap.
That's super
cheap. Would you
cheap.
go grab a beer for 66 cents?
I would grab 100 beer for 6.
Right. That's the problem, right? Okay. You already know. I don't even need to tell you. Okay. So let's get into it. Cleveland in 1974 was a wild place. It was a pretty big city before that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It still was a big city, but they had this huge problem where like 6 factories, like this is a factory town, and like 6 of their factories went under, and they just like boom. And so a ton of people got laid off.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was like this tension in the city, right? Because there's a bunch of people that got laid off that aren't working, that are looking for jobs. They get desperate. They start doing drugs. Like the whole city just kind of like turns, like crime goes way up. The murder rate like went up by like 100 times.
Oh my God.
Like it went from like, 3 people, like whatever, a couple people a year to like over 300 people a year were murdered.
Oh.
And like, it was crazy.
Jeez.
It was so bad, Daniel. The rivers would light on fire. I kid you not.
What is going on?
The Cuyahoga River was so polluted that it would light on fire, and at one point was just it was a raging inferno with flames like 5 stories tall. The rivers were on fire, which actually that was kind of what prompted the formation of the EPA.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
There's no EPA before 1974?
I guess not. Sounded crazy to me too. I was
That's
like,
wild.
I should check that number, but but yeah, the rivers would light on fire. So,
wow.
So at that time, Cleveland was still playing baseball. They were the Indians at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a little bit of backstory. They were not very good in 1974. I don't think they had been very good for a while. And earlier in the year, they had played the Texas Rangers in Texas, and the game there got pretty chippy, and like the Cleveland, what was it? They said like a Cleveland player slid in really hard into second base, and then some other people, then they started throwing pitches at each other and like all this stuff, and it started getting out of control. And so the Texas fans were actually throwing like food and stuff at the Cleveland players. And so it got real ugly in Texas and all of that stuff, right?
Fun.
So then later on, a couple weeks later, Cleveland is going to host Texas.
Because it's part of the series, right? Mm-hmm. Is that how that works?
Yeah, they'll do a couple games over there and they'll come do a couple games over here.
Yep.
It wasn't like the same week. I think it was like just kind of later in the season. Like
I see.
So just how the schedule worked out.
Yeah.
So about a week before the game, the media outlet is like kind of fueling the fire of what's going to happen at this game. Like, do you remember what they did when we played them? Like, is a brawl going to happen? Like all of these things, right? And they're kind of milking it and kind of making it kind of crazy. Well, on top of that, they're the Cleveland Indians, because they sucked, were not selling many tickets. They had the biggest Major League Baseball stadium in terms of capacity at the time. It had 74,000 people it could fit.
I think that's still a lot.
It's way big. I think Coors Field is like 38 to 40,000 people.
Oh my God. That puts it in perspective. Jeez.
I think whatever Invesco is called right now is maybe 60 or 70,000.
The heck is Invesco?
The football one. What the Donkeys play at. The Denver Bronco Donkeys.
Oh, their
football field. I don't know what it's called.
It's called
Denver Stadium.
Yeah,
Denver
that one.
Football
Mile High
location.
Just say Mile High Stadium.
But it's not, and that people get whatever. The football zone.
Sports Authority. That's
sports.
That's game. What it used to be.
That's the one. We're gonna settle.
It's the insurance place one. Is it not? No. Empower Field. I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
Anyways, it doesn't matter. But you were saying you think that one hosts how much?
I think it's closer to like 60 or 70,000.
Okay, so that size.
That's closer.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So it's huge. Their average number of tickets sold per game was about 1,200.
No. Jeez. Were they good at some point to justify that big of a stadium?
It was actually maybe. I don't actually look into that. It was a shared stadium with the Browns or whoever the Browns, if they changed, because they were whatever before the NFL. There was like the American football something thingy,
yeah,
and then they got merged at some point. Whatever team the football team was there also shared that stadium, so they could convert it and do football there too.
Oh,
so that's probably why it was so big.
Gotcha.
So there you go. So they were not putting people in chairs, and so they're like, oh, we got to figure out a way to sell more tickets. Let's do 10-cent beer night, right? You can get 12-ounce cup of beer for 10 cents. Sound like a good plan? Well, we should put some rules on that, right? Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
You're only allowed. It was 3.5 beer or 3.2 beer or whatever.
3.2 beer.
3.2 beer. It was 3.2 beer. Okay, that's fine. You were, as an individual, only allowed to buy 6 beers each time you came up. Yep.
What? I thought you were gonna say 3 to 6 beers per like inning or like.
Nope. 6 beers each time you came up. There was like the interview of some people and stuff like that. One of the quotes was, I had $2 in my pocket. You do the math.
That's freaking awesome.
So to make this worse, because they sucked and because of all of the fighting and stuff like that, people were already showing up to this game drunk, and they were throwing firecrackers onto the field before the game even started. 25,000 people showed up, which is pretty good. It doesn't fill the stadium.
It's not full, but it's more than
1,200
yep.
by a lot. So a whole bunch of people showed up, right? Let me scroll. So yeah, they're already throwing firecrackers on the field before the game even starts. Let's see, it was like the first inning, Texas hit a home run. They go up immediately. In the second inning, this is a crazy people story, right? In the second inning, some lady jumped out of the stands, ran down to the on deck circle, flashed the crowd, and then kissed the home plate umpire, and then ran off in the second inning.
Wow, then, dude.
The next inning, another streaker jumped into the outfield, ran across the field, slid into second base, which sounds unpleasant.
Yeah.
And then got up and ran off and jumped and ran out of the stadium, and they never got him in the third inning. And so it just kept escalating. At this point, the score is like 5-1 as they're going. It's like every half inning, they're constantly throwing, like they're throwing food and trash onto the field. Like the grounds crew is just constantly. I saw pictures of it. It's just there's just trash everywhere. Just the whole thing is filled with trash.
Whoa.
The Texas first baseman, in his interview, he approximated that 20 pounds of hot dogs were thrown at him. Which is just like,
how do you guesstimate 20
pounds of hot dogs thrown at him?
He ate one, right? At least one. I mean, that's a lot of hot dogs.
I don't know, man. That was not part of my research here. It's just it's so crazy, this whole thing. So at this point too, the people serving beer were just getting completely overwhelmed. So they stopped checking IDs.
To be honest, I am surprised that they even were.
Right. Honestly, I mean, as crazy as all of this is. So they stopped checking IDs, and then they basically just started filling up whatever people handed to them. And so like one guy had like a big old like 32-ounce thing. And
right.
Like they were just filling up whatever people handed to them.
Oh my gosh.
Some of them stopped taking money. Like they were just so completely inundated that they're just like, whatever, just going, right? So it just gets worse and worse and worse. But right, they're throwing rocks at the players. They started throwing firecrackers into the Texas dugout, and they're throwing basically anything that wasn't bolted down at all these players. It's like, I have no idea how long this would have taken to like actually play a game during this.
Yeah.
So it was like in the 8th inning, like a father and son jumped into the outfield and like mooned all the Texas outfielders, which is just super stupid. And then like it just goes and goes and goes. In the bottom of the 9th inning, they had not called the game. They were just like,
yeah, that's crazy that they're just going for it.
The umpire said that he feared like retaliation from the crowd.
Like if they stopped.
Yes. So just keep that in mind. In the 9th inning, Cleveland mounts a comeback. They tie it up in the bottom of the 9th.
Man.
2 outs, runner on second. Some dude from the outfield stands jumps into the field, runs up to the right fielder and tries to grab his hat. I guess like at some point, like during this, like he knocks him down or whatever. They make pretty good contact. From what the Texas can see from their dugout, it basically looks like a fan just went in and started attacking their player. So what do the Rangers do? They grab their bats and start running out to the field to defend their guy. Bad idea. So then what does the crowd do? They see them coming in. So everybody starts storming the field. Thousands of people just start storming the fields and start attacking the Texas players. So what did the Cleveland Indians do? They grab bats and go to protect the Rangers. So they're attacking, they're fighting their own fans.
Oh my
they're
God.
Hitting their own fans with bats. They're getting hit with chairs. It's chaos in this whole thing. There are 50 security guards. There's no police.
In the whole stadium?
In the whole stadium.
That is so bad.
They had nothing. They did nothing right. They did nothing right in this whole thing. So Cleveland runs out there to protect the Rangers, and they fight their way back to the dugouts, go back in and lock the doors. And then SWAT team has to come and quell the riot. Like a few arrests were made, like only a couple severe injuries were reported. This is so funny that my notes say officials blamed the beer for the chaos. Yeah, probably. Which is funny because they had another 10-cent beer night later on in the year and it was fine. So just like it was a little bit of just the circumstances and everything like that. But because they ended in the bottom of the ninth, they awarded a forfeit to the Texas Rangers. So the Rangers got the win.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because they basically said Cleveland forfeits because they had to call the game at that point. And because of Cleveland's fans and their fault and this or whatever their decision was, Cleveland lost the game due to forfeit, even though they had tied it in the bottom of the ninth with the runner on second.
Dude, that's such a bummer.
So there you go. You had Watergate, you've got a recession, and you've got beer that is too cheap.
Okay. If you were there at the stadium at that game and you saw people storming the field, would you storm the field too?
I probably would have left long before that.
Because I think I'd be like, dude.
You might hop onto the field, but like, yeah. I would not be part of the violence.
No, I would not.
Like, nah.
I would just want to be part of
like, look, I'm on the field.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at this. This is the line. Like, this is the grass.
That's exactly what I would be like. Oh my gosh, look at all this. Like, take the opportunity of people
walk around.
Yeah, just like, oh, when's the next time I'm going to be able to do this?
Pretend you're playing center field. You're like, oh, look, go get it. He's going to the alley. Yeah.
Or grab a bat and protect the Rangers too, and maybe
I got you guys. Let's go.
And maybe you get to go in the dugout, or I mean, to the locker room with them and be like, I'll protect you, and then you get to,
and then they sign the bat.
Yeah.
And then you sell it.
Yep. I don't know if it was a good team, the 74 Rangers team.
But. Oh my gosh. I don't have the quote with me, but it was like some guy's critique of the 74 Indians was like a horrible mix of mediocre and outright boring. It was like how he explained their team or something like that. It was so comical. Oh, I wish I wrote that quote down, but that's okay. So beer, it's a thing. It's been a thing for a long time. It has its way about it. It has its way on people. It's I don't know. It's just one of those weird things where it kind of went from like a religious experience to whatever nonsense happened in Cleveland in 1974, which has not gone away.
Yeah.
I mean,
not at all.
Beer is one thing that you can count on that is going to be influencing people's lives every day and somewhere on the world.
And I think, I mean, most of the time it's like small stories that people have about it.
Yeah.
But then there's the big stories like that.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been possible without the beer, you know?
It certainly lent a lot to the situation.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, people are brave and they're willing to do stuff. And then you give them a beer, they're like, their bravery like increases.
That liquid courage, man.
And you're just like, oh yeah, let's actually do that.
Yeah, like I'll go streak and slide into second base.
Yeah.
Bet I won't. Like, watch me. And the precedent at that point had already been set. Somebody else had already jumped onto the field.
Yeah.
So it really spiraled, and I cannot believe the umpire didn't at no point before that. And he's like, oh, I feared what happened anyway, man. So it's just
right.
Jeez. So there you go. There's the 10-cent beer riot.
I just feel bad for the one fan that actually wanted to watch the game.
Yeah, right. He's like, oh my gosh, stop throwing food. Stop on the field, guys.
Dude, we could actually win this. Come on.
Right? Like, oh no, this is the best comeback we had this year. Now we lost. Yeah. They interviewed the guy that tried to steal the guy's hat.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he basically said, yeah, it's not like it cost him the pennant or anything. He's like, they kind of sucked anyway. Oh my gosh. You're such an idiot.
Some guys are so bold, man.
Oh man. There's a lot going on in Cleveland in 74. So there you go, Daniel. There's beer. There is so much more about beer that we did not talk about from the historical point of view, and millions of stories that we don't even need to talk about. It's fine. We all have them. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's part of being a human, I guess, is beer. One of the reasons we formed cities and settlements. Maybe.
Crazy.
That we went toward agriculture. Maybe. In a way, at least.
For sure.
At least partly. So what do we do first? We do the plugs and stuff first. You got anything to say, Daniel? Plug Pliny the Elder, because they don't need the plug, but we'll try to find some.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Like, why not try something new, something different, and something possibly fun and pleasant? I'm going to really, really, really be upset if I truly end up liking, oh my gosh, this is one of my next favorite beers.
I don't think you will.
But if I do, I'm going to be mad. I'd be like, which I did see. I mean, like $72 for a 12 pack. It does sound expensive, but if you break it down, it's $6 a beer, which is what you would pay at a brewery. $6
maybe less,
or a glass for a glass. So,
yeah, I mean, if you go to like Breck, like $8 a glass or something. So.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay.
So you weigh your options. You're like,
so you're paying for a craft beer.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
okay. That helps.
When you break it down like that, it's not that bad.
Yeah. If it was a 6-pack, you're like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
Now you're talking $12.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of a lot, but there are some specialty things out there that are they're fun to try.
Yeah.
See what's going on. It's an art form. So
like Dragon's Milk.
That's a good one, but I think there's better ones.
Yeah. I think so too.
You can find that one at King Soopers. So I'm talking like we go to the beer cave sometimes. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, those bottles, the ones in wax.
Oh, those I would love to try one of those one day, just because I have no idea what it would be. They're like, what do we see there, Daniel? They're like a $200 bottle of beer.
Of one beer. One beer.
It's like, I don't know what that could taste like. Is it really worth it? I want to try it, but I don't want to pay for it.
Maybe one day when somebody that has money to blow, like, oh yeah, hey, I just happened to find these $200 lying on the.
Let's start putting pennies away or something, right? Start a GoFundMe.
Help
me. Is that how this works? Help me drink beer.
No, I should just spend any time I have like free time, just go in the corner and be like, I'm trying to buy an expensive beer.
Dude, I bet you'd get so much money.
Be like, it's
good luck, man.
Yeah,
I hope you get. You're like, thanks, man. I'm at $80. I bet it would work.
Maybe one day I'll just try. Just go out there for a weekend.
Like, not homeless, thirsty.
I'm not homeless. I just need beer money. Friends coming over need beer money.
Yes. Oh man. I think there'd be people ready to donate to the cause.
Honestly, like you get enough people, like 200 people donating $1. You're just out there for like, cool. Yeah. If I did that,
couple light cycles,
I would seriously put those $200 to go try that one beer.
We should find a way to squirrel away some money and do it.
Yeah.
So there you go. Patreon episode at some point coming on up where we'll somehow acquire $200 to go buy a stupid beer that is a complete mistake. Probably
100%.
We'll see. We'll see.
That would be a terrible mistake if we fell in love with it.
Yeah, and needed more.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. Yeah, crave it. No. Yeah, no, doesn't sound good. But maybe we'll do that. So if that sounds fun, you guys can go check us out or check out our Patreon, where we have a whole bunch of other bonus content. You'll see it show up on Spotify with a little lock on it. You won't be able to play it unless you sign up for Patreon, which you can do so, I think, through Spotify. I don't know how Apple does their stuff. Or you can go to patreon.com/doinglearning. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Did we do the thing? We did all the things.
We did all the things. I think that Patreon is starting to build up a lot.
Got some weird stuff over there.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Pretty fun. I won't say here because it'll date it or whatever, but we'll put it on some of the announcements. We got a fun one that I've been editing for a while. That's a fun little tier building list. Daniel and I rate some stuff. So go check that out. And I had fun tonight, Daniel.
Oh, I had a blast.
This is just a weird thing that I'm surprised it hasn't come up yet. So much research to do on this one. Is just a deep topic that we only barely scratch the surface on. So with that in mind, just remember, go do your own research and stay curious and stay thirsty.
Nice.
See how
I like it. Hey, everybody. We just like to take a moment to thank everybody out there that has thus far supported us. We do all these recordings, and we love doing it. We have fun doing it, but we are paying out of our own pocket. But it does help when people like Liz D, Seth T, Irvin H, DaDog, Mouse T, and Kirk K help us make this little podcast a reality and, lighten the load a little bit. So thank you from both of us and all of the fans. Thank you for helping us make this a reality. And if you guys want to help be part of the Doing Learning crew, you can do so by going to www.patreon.com/Doing Learning. I don't know why I said www.